Hello there, everyone. My name is Crazy Caleb, and welcome to Wolf, Goat, and Cabbage. Now, this is the way the module looks. It's got a wooden background, sort of border deal, and what we have here is we have a row, a board, and a series of different images which can represent different types of plants and animals that we're going to see along the way. So this is what we're going to be doing here, and pictures of 6 to 9 creatures will be shown on the screen one at a time. We can use these left and right arrows to navigate, and this red button down here is a reset button, but it will not reset the entire module. It will just reset it back to its initial state. It won't regenerate it, rather. So, um, buttons to the left and right button of the screen can be used to cycle for each creature. Pretty straightforward. And buttons labeled aboard will move the current creature onto the screen onto a virtual boat or leave the boat when pressed. So the way that you can see this is we have like this little light down here that's currently black. If we were to put it on a board, what would happen here is this light would turn on. And then and then if we hit row, what this is going to happen is this is going to move that the people who are on that boat to the other side. And what's going to be happening here is that we need to keep track of where everything is, because this is going to be all based off of a virtual river. And what our goal is here is our goal is to get everyone over to the other side, but there's a couple catches of how we have to do this, and this is what makes this module a very tricky module. So, um, so the light will be on when the current creature is on the boat and off otherwise, and each creature has conflicts with another and must not be left together unsupervised. These conflicts are listed on the second page of the manual, and the boat will have exactly the minimum spaces required to prevent such a conflict to occur, and the module will strike if one of the following occurs: trying to move a creature onto the boat when the boat is full, trying to move a creature onto the boat when it is on the opposite shore from the boat, and trying to row while there are conflicts among creatures on land. So, moving every creature across the river will indeed solve the module. Let's get right into this because we have a lot to go over, and today I'm going to be using the interactive for this, so this is what we're going to be working with here. So, let's take a look and let's actually see what animals we first have here. So we have, first off, the wolf. So let's mark this down, wolf. Next up we have berries, or just berry in this case. We've got a bear. Most of these are pretty easy to identify. This is an earthworm. This is a goat. This is a chicken. And these images are here to reference for you. They're all available. This is the infamous goose, and I'll explain to you why it is a bit notorious with this module. This is the seeds, and we're back to wolf. Okay, so we have eight different animals and plants that we have to worry about here. So, creatures rather. So now let's take a look and let's see what we need to do here. Now, first things first that I want to set up is I want to set up this little diagram here because this is going to be very important for us to determine what we're looking at here. And number of creatures is going to be 8. And now we're given 8 different circles. So now what we want to do is we want to select every single creature that we have, and we're going to move it over to the right side here. So we're just going to press the right arrow. So we have bear, berry, chicken, goose. Let's go down a little bit. Goose. There was goat as well. There was seeds. There was wolf, earthworm, and that's going to do it for us. Okay, perfect. So now, what we have here is we have this diagram set up for us, and it's giving us the 3 letters that is going to help us distinct it. In this case, it's going to be the first 3 letters for each and every single one: bear, berry, chicken, goose, goat, seeds, wolf, and earthworm. So now, what we need to do is we need to go up here and we need to take a look at the conflicts list. And what this is gonna show you is it's gonna be underneath each creature's name are the creatures that are in conflict with it. Use this information to determine a collective group that can be left together on land. So this is what we're gonna be looking at here. So first things first, let's highlight every single section, or let's just go down one by one of each list and see if we have any sort of deal with any of the other animals here. So wolf. Wolf has conflict with goose, bear, goat, and chicken. Quite a few. So that's going to be definitely a big concern. So wolf has conflict with goose, bear, goat, chicken. So now what we're going to do here is we're going to select one of these circles, in this case this wolf, and we're going to select one of the other things that it has conflict with. In this case, let's select bear. And what's going to happen here is this is going to draw a line, and these lines represents the conflict between each of these 2 animals, and they're going to be straight lines. So we've got goose, goat, and chicken. Goose, goat, and chicken. Okay, and these are all the conflicts with each other. Next up, let's take a look at earthworm, for example. Earthworms right here. It's going to be chicken, goose, seeds, and berry. Wow, all right. So earthworm has conflicts with chicken, goose, seeds, berry. Chicken, goose, seeds, berries. That's a bear. Um, okay. Next up, let's take a look at what bear has a conflict with. Bear is going to be right down here. So bear has a conflict with goose, of course. We've already determined that. Wolf, we've already determined that. Or actually, no, we haven't determined that it has a problem with goose. Um, now, you might be seeing that there is a lot going on with the goose, and if you happen to take a look at the goose section individually, it is almost every single item that we have here. It is notorious for how hated it is as a creature, and yeah, it's a lot. I think the only one here is there's no berries. There is no berries and there's no seeds as far as I'm aware, because this is just it's the goose. So with bear, it should be just the goose and the wolf for all I'm seeing with this one, and that's going to take care of those two. Okay. So next up, let's just get rid of the goose because we have a lot here going on. So we've got chicken, we've got bear, we've got wolf, we've got goat, we have earthworm too, and I believe that looks like that's it because there was only two that we didn't have present. So yes, that makes sense. Okay, so goose is also conflicted with chicken, bear, wolf, goat, earthworm. Um, Goat and chicken. There we go. Okay, let's see what goat is conflicting with. Shouldn't be that many. Goose, obviously. Wolf, obviously. We've already determined those two. Yep. And it looks like that's it. Okay. And finally, berries. Berries has to deal with earthworm. I think that's the only issue with these. Yeah, nice. Okay, so berry is the only issue with the earthworm, and that's going to be it. And finally, seeds. Let me see if there's anything else that seeds is going to have an issue with. Chicken and earthworm. Chicken as well. There we go. We already marked earthworm. And I believe that that's going to take care of everything. I believe we went through everything here. So now let's take a look and let's see what we need to do with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy down to the virtual river this entire list right here. And what we have here is we have everything currently on the same side. And what we want to do is we want to start moving things over on a boat. And in this case, that's what we're going to be using the board for. And what we want to do is we want to put everyone on a boat such that if we were to leave some animals at shore, which in this case is going to be guaranteed, um, they would not harm each other or they would not be conflicting with each other in any way, shape, or form. This is what makes this module so tricky, especially in the earlier state, because you don't know exactly how much the exact minimum spaces required to prevent such conflicts to occur. So you need to try things out a little bit. And that's what makes this first part a little bit hard. So what we want to do is we want to try and figure out, hey, is there any way, shape, or form that I can get, for example, 3 is usually what it is. Is there any way that I can get 3 animals on board such that the rest of them do not have any conflict with each other? And what I'm thinking here is I am thinking um, perhaps it's earthworm, goose, and chicken. But then again, the wolf and the goat would have conflict with each other, and the bear and the wolf would have conflict with each other. Um, so maybe it's a little bit, maybe it's something else. Hold on. So I don't think it's berries. You ideally do not want to get rid of you ideally do not want to get rid of, for example, just a one conflict one. That's not your biggest issue. You probably want to get rid of the source. I think earthworm needs to go. So earthworm is going to need to go here for this first one. I think that that's very safe to say. We can probably get rid of both the goose and the wolf maybe. And let's see if the chicken's gonna cause problems though. That's the thing. This might be a 4. This actually might be a 4 here because I don't see any possible way that we could potentially get rid of 3 of them without there being some sort of conflict. So I believe that this is going to be 4, which does make sense. So now what we want to do here is we want to get rid of the chicken. We want to get rid of the goose because the goose, I think, is pretty much going to have to go with us on all trips. Now, just because of the fact that the goose has so many conflicts, that's generally why the goose is going to, for the most part, stay on your boat for the entire time. You can bring over on the boat people with conflicts. You just can't leave them on shore when they have conflicts with each other. That's the way that this works. So you can go there, go to the other side, for example. Then what you can do is you can actually row the people who have conflicts back, for example. You can just leave them on the boat, and then you can just kind of go back and forth like that. That's the way that that works. But you need to make sure that you do not have any conflicts, not when they're on the boat, but when they are left on shore. That's the way that this works. So I'm having a hunch that this is actually going to be 4 of them, which makes me want to believe it's earthworm, wolf, chicken, and goose. It's got to be that. I don't see any other way that would give me 3 because of the fact that if we do wolf, goose, chicken, earthworm is still going to have problems with seed and berry. And if we do any of these other 3, there's still going to be problems left. It's just not going to work. Because chicken's going to have a problem with seeds. Goose is going to find a way to have some sort of problem, obviously. Wolf is always going to have a problem with goat, so it has to be 4. It has to be these 4. So now what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to put these guys aboard on a ship. So we're going to want to put wolf. We're going to want to put earthworm, goose, earthworm, chicken, and the goose. Okay, and now, as you just saw, I was able to put 4 aboard on the ship, and I was not able to get a strike. So this means that we have a maximum of 4, or rather, there's a max space of 4. Now, you don't necessarily actually have to fit all of them on here. That's the thing. You don't necessarily need to essentially, you don't need to, how do you describe it? You don't need to fill up the maximum amount of spaces, but it is just exactly the minimum spaces required such a conflict to occur. Now, you don't need to fill up all the spaces. You do not need to fill up all the spaces. It's just giving you it's giving you the exact minimum that you need to actually get these people over to the other side. So now, what we're going to do is we're going to row over there, because if we happen to take a look here, what we have is we have the wolf, the earthworm, the chicken, and the goose that are completely going to be going over to the other side. Now, we take a look at the last 3 items here, last 4 rather. The seed had conflicts with the earthworm and the chicken. Those 2 are going over to the other side. Goat had conflict with the wolf and the goose, going over to the other side. Bear had conflict with the wolf and the goose, going over to the other side. And berries had conflict with the earthworm, only going over to the other side. This works. So now, let's row them over. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we're going to move the chicken, goose, goat, or no, not the goat, the wolf and the earthworm over to the other side. These 4 are left on this side, and these 4 are currently on the other side to the finish, but they will likely be coming back simply because of the fact that they themselves actually can't work with each other. So this already is going to be very interesting to deal with. Okay, so now what I have a couple ideas of is this is potentially going to look like, I have a couple ideas of what we can do here. Now, hear me out. I'm going to try and explain this in the best way that I can. The fact that Goose has so many conflicts makes me believe that he's going to be the last one over. I can already see that happening. Same thing with the chicken, simply because of the fact that it can't work with both the earthworm, the wolf, and just a lot of stuff. So, this is going to be very interesting to work with here, and I hope that my explanations will make sense. So now what we want to do is because of the fact that we have each of these 4 have conflicts of their own with each of the other animals, each of the creatures rather, we're not going to be able to leave most of these guys left on this side, and it's probably going to have to be we're going to have to take 3 of you back because of the fact that there is at least 2 guaranteed conflicts with each other. In this case, earthworm has conflicts with chicken and goose, wolf has conflicts with chicken and goose, and that's going to be it. And actually, we could actually just leave earthworm and wolf over here, and we could just bring back the chicken and the goose. That's actually a really interesting point. So, let's see what we can do here. I'm trying to think what we can do. Perhaps I have an idea. And I can see what we can do. So if we were to leave the earthworm and the berry, the earthworm and the wolf on the other side. What we can do is you can bring back the chicken and the goose. Let's bring back the chicken and the goose. So so we got here goose and chicken. We're gonna leave these guys selected, but we're gonna unselect these guys here, which in this case we're just gonna select the board again. Okay, now we're gonna rotate to the other side. So we're currently back on the original shore that we were at. So we brought back the chicken and the goose. Now, what I'm thinking that we want to do is we want to bring the chicken and the goose with us, along with 2 other items that won't have conflicts with both the wolf and the earthworm. Now, one of the things that I can see here that we can potentially do is actually, what I'm thinking of is that there's going to be no way that we're going to be able to leave 2 of them safely on one side, but rather what we can do here is we can maybe bring over the seeds and the berries. We bring back the earthworm and the chicken. This is going to be really weird. So let's bring over, first off, let's bring over the chicken and the goose again, because I think that these 2 are pretty much going to have to stick with us the entire time. And then what we're going to do is let's bring over the berry, and let's bring over the seeds. Berry and seeds. Seeds and berry. Okay, let's row. All right. So we've got the goose, the chicken, the berry, and the seeds are currently over on this side. We have got 2 spaces left. Now what we want to do is we want to be able to bring over the chicken and the goose again, and we want to bring over these last 2 over to the other side. Essentially, this is going to be what we're trying to do here, and it's a little bit of a navigation process. But me bringing over the berry is exactly what these two conflicts come with the earthworm, which does make me a bit concerned about that. Now, what I could potentially do here is I could potentially leave the chicken and the goose. No, because the seeds are going to have conflict with the chicken. And the goose is going to have conflict with all of the rest of the stuff. I probably should have brought over the bear first. Now that I'm thinking about it. No, I shouldn't have. Okay, so I believe the earthworm has to go. The earthworm has to come back, which means that we're likely just going to bring it over one more. So let's unselect the berry, and let's unselect the seeds. Let's bring back the chicken over. Let's bring back the earthworm rather over. Where is it? There it is. And now I believe we're gonna have to row these 3 back. That's just gonna be the way that this has to work. This is quite the navigation process, especially with 8 animals. It's really annoying. Let's row back. So we're rowing the chicken, the goose, and the earthworm back. The berry, seeds, and wolf do not have any conflict with each other. As you can see, we did not strike. Now, what we want to do is we want to see if we can bring anything forward. Chicken and goose cannot stay on the island. That's just gonna be factual. The goat itself can actually stay on the island if we remove the goose. The chicken can actually stay on there too. There's no problem with the chicken and the goat. So that actually is a good point to note down. We can simply just actually unselect the chicken, and we can actually clear up our space here. So let's bring the chicken off the board. The earthworm does not have any conflicts with it. It does have conflicts with the chicken and the goose. So I believe we're going to have to keep that on the boat. Now, what we can do here is I want to bring the wolf back because we need to be able to bring the bear and the goat into this. So this is this is a very rough one here. I'm going to be honest with you. The chicken's going to have problems with the seeds. It's going to have problems with the earthworm. It's going to have problems with the wolf. The only one that we're concerned about because it's on its side is the earthworm. So the earthworm and chicken have to go. Okay, this is a really interesting example. My problem is that do I want to keep the earthworm on this side or do I want to keep the chicken on this side? I think I'm going to want to keep the chicken. I think I'm going to keep the earthworm on this side just because of the fact that the only 2 conflicts with berry and seeds is because of the damn earthworm. I think that has to be the best option here that I have to do. And what I need is I need a group of 4 that can simply just go over there. and there's not going to be any problems. Now, that actually made me think about this because there's got to be a group of 4 that will not have any conflict with each other. That's going to be the way that has to work. Barry is going to be over there. I know that for a fact. Bear, goat. I think I see the pathway through. Berry, chicken, goat, and bear. I think that this has to be it. Because what we can do is if we can get these 4 on the one side here, because they have no conflict with each other, what we can then do is we can then bring over the goose, the wolf, the earthworm, and the seeds over to the other side. This is what we need to be after here. And I hope I'm not taking too long to explain this, and I will do one more example after this. But we're very close to having these guys over here. The problem with this is that if we happen to leave these guys on one side, this is going to cause problems. Now, what I'm thinking here is that if we need the bear and the goat over, we need to get these... Oh, I think I actually can see the way through. So currently, right now, we have the bear, the chicken, the goose, the goat, and the earthworm on this side. What we can do here is we can leave the chicken behind. What we can then do is we can then bring the bear, the goose, the goat, and the earthworm over. We can leave the chicken by itself. We don't care about the chicken right now. If it's left by itself, that's all that matters. Because we have the maximum space of 4. What we can do here is we can add the bear. We can add the wolf on the side. We can add goose is already on. Goat and the earthworm. We can row these guys over to the other side. Let's do that. So let's do row, row, and then row. Now, what we want to do is now, because of the fact that the berry, the chicken, the goat, and the bear can all be together, which actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I should have left the earthworm. So, let's actually row back to the other side. So let's row back. Let's unselect this guy right here. Let's bring over the chicken. Let's row back. So let's just swap these guys, nice and easy. Now what we can do is we can then now bring back 3 items with the earthworm, pick up the earthworm on the way back, and then what we can do is we can solve this module. So now we need to leave the bear, the berry, the chicken, and the goat. So we need to bring back the goose, the seeds, and the wolf. That's the way that we need to do this. So let's bring back the goose, of course. We need to bring back the seeds. We need to bring back the wolf. I accidentally selected more than I could provide, so let's just get rid of these guys. Let's get rid of the goat. That's my bad. Goose, seeds, and wolf. Let's throw those guys back. Okay. Seeds, wolf, and goat. And as you can see, these guys can function without any problems. Now what we can do is we can now bring the earthworm with us. Bring it aboard and row back. Solve the module. We bring these 4 back over, and just like that, we have solved the module. Hope that makes sense. This is a bit of a tricky one to explain on the fly, and especially with this example too, that was quite nasty. But essentially what you want to do is you want to find animals that are able to be sustainable with themselves. That's just the way that this is going to work. And I actually should have considered that a long time ago, but I didn't, so don't worry about that. But yeah, that first part of the module is just determining, hey, what works with each other and what doesn't, and what can have no conflicts with each other in order to solve this module. So let's take a look at one more example, and I'd like to apologize for taking so long, but sometimes this module can just take as long as that. So, it's ideally with six creatures that it would be a lot easier, because it just is. And this one definitely had a lot of conflicts, simply because of the goose existing. The goose is a bit of a thorn in everyone's side in one way or another. So let's take a look. And one final example. And I hope that my way of explaining has been able to make sense. It's a really nice module. I really actually like this a lot, and it's a bit tricky to explain how these conflicts work and how these conflicts essentially work with each other. Hopefully I was able to follow you along. So we've got wolf, we've got berry, we've got kiwi, we've got seeds again, we have chicken, hoping for a 6 here, and we've got a mouse. Okay. This one looks a little bit easier. So this is only going to be 6. So we have only 6 items here. So this is going to be 6. We have the berry, We have the chicken. We've got the earthworm. No, we don't have the earthworm. We have wolf. We've got seeds. We've got kiwi, and we have mouse. Okay, let's copy this down to the virtual river, and now let's figure out what the conflicts are, because this actually shouldn't be too much. But it's definitely going to be a lot easier than having to deal with the goddamn goose. So we've got berry here, for example. So we've got berry conflicts with mouse, and that's it. Perfect. So berry just conflicts with mouse. Okay. Wolf. Wolf's gonna have a lot of conflicts, and I think actually the mouse is gonna be the one with the big conflicts here. Berry, of course, and that's actually it. Wow, these two do not have any conflicts. These two are just the ones that have conflicts. Wolf itself, though, has conflicts with chicken. Wow, this one's actually looking a lot easier. Yeah, okay. So wolf just has conflicts with chicken. Alright. Chicken has conflicts with seeds and wolf. And that's looking like that's it. Wow, alright. Nice. So yeah, chicken just has conflicts with seeds as well. Kiwi, or rather seeds. Seeds has conflict with, where are you? Seeds has conflict with kiwi, chicken, and that's it. So kiwi and chicken. Kiwi and seeds, rather. Kiwi has conflict with seeds, and that's it. Yeah, this one is definitely a lot easier to do, as you can see. There are not many conflicts at all. And what we can do is, I think it's going to be 3 for this one. This one actually looks very, very simple. So, I'm just going to make sure. So, mouse and berry should be the only 2 with each other. Berry, yeah, that's looking like that's good. Mouse, berry, cabbage, corn, dog, rice, fox, goose. Yep, that's good. Wolf. Wolf is only one conflict. In this case, fox, goose, bear, cat, goat. Did I say goat? The chicken, yep. And that looks like that's going to be it. Yep. Okay. And seeds. Okay, so it's going to be probably 3. I don't see any way that we can do 3. That we can do 2 here, because of the fact that there's always going to be at least one for the mouse and the berry. One of them needs to go, and if we were to move one of them, there would still be some conflict. So it's going to be 3. This one is going to be a 3 max. So let's get rid of seeds, chicken, and one of these 2. In this case, it really doesn't matter, mouse or berry. So let's get rid of seeds, chicken, okay, and let's do mouse. That's real close by. Okay, let's row these over to the other side. So we rowed over mouse, chicken, and seeds. Now, if we take a look here, seeds and chicken, and both have conflict with each other, so that one of them is going to be rowed over to the other side here. Let's bring seeds back over. This one's going to take a little bit. So let's bring seeds back over. Let's unselect chicken and mouse, because they have nothing to do with each other. Then what we're going to do is we're going to row back over. We're going to row the seeds back over, so let's bring you back. Let's row... we don't even really have to worry about berry. We can take the other 3 over if we wanted to. Then take 2 back. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so I see what we can do here. So let's row wolf, seeds, and kiwi over to the other side. So let's bring over the wolf and the kiwi. Let's row you back over. So bam, bam, bam. Okay. And then finally, what we can do here is we can see that these 2 have conflict with each other, and they have conflict with everything else. So it's just going to be safe to bring these guys back. So let's bring back the chicken and the seeds. Let's onboard kiwi, onboard wolf. Let's bring back the seeds and the chicken. Seeds and chicken. There's chicken. There we go. I'll throw you guys back. And now, chicken and seeds. As you can tell, what we can do is we can add the berries to our trip, we can row them over, and just like that is a solved module. Now, normally that would be kind of the way that this module works. It's a nice and simple one, but obviously with that last example, that was a very tricky one to do, and I'd like to apologize for taking too long on that. But as always, thank you guys for watching. Remember to stay crazy, stay cool, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.